The last Gulf War sees the USA siding with Kuwait. On the surface, this is a war waged to grant the independence of Kuwait, but this, in fact, is the final blow from the US to the Soviet Union. Middle East is the middle of ideological conflict from the start of the Cold War due to the rich natural resources and the significance of its location on the map. Kuwait's independence had completely isolated the Soviet Union, making the giant bear unable to trade oil via land routes. Oil is the equivalent of blood in industrialized society. It also is the foundation of US world dominance. The US had ensured that global oil trading currency is USD. When other countries buy oil, they are in essence throwing money at the states. The US have an infinite amount of USD, other countries do not. If China wants to buy oil, they have to exchange Chinese yuan to USD, and then using the USD to purchase oil. The US does not allow anyone to challenge their supremacy, which is based on the oil standards. The Cold War is like a battle between the eagle and the bear. When the bear fell, the eagle is practically invincible. The rest of the world powers look on with fear, not wanting to be on the chopping block next. People started to speculate the US's next target. It is not long till it is revealed. In February 1998, Kosovo's War of Independence began. The EU was formed in 1993. Euro as a currency had to stabilize. The Kosovo War of Independence, on paper, looks like the last blow to European communism as in Yugoslavia, but in reality, it is just another war backed by US in Europe. This benefits the US in multiple ways. First, as always, during war or peacetime, the US arm manufacturer gets a ton of money. The US will never ban guns because of how much the capitals those little gadgets generate and flow. The army, during wartime, have to buy their weaponry from the arm manufacturers, so does the allies of the US, in this case, of course, the Kosovo Rebellion Army. Secondly, it brings a war to newly formed EU, bringing the instability. The EU is hugely powerful and may assume the leadership of the unneeded NATO and threatens US dominance militarily. The US is the safest place in the world. When a war broke out in Europe, the European elites' money went to US banks, transforming the currency from euro to USD. This hasty action seemed reckless to many, but the US actually got the permission of a certain powerful East Asian country, Yinhe Incident. 4 months before the formation of EU, US surprised the world and provoked China. The Chinese cargo ship Yinhe, shipping to Iran, was accused of having chemical weaponry on board. China was not prepared. After a month of holding, Yinhe finally opened up its gate and allowed US surveillance, which obviously after a month had no chemical weapons on board. This made the US believe that the Chinese does not want war, yet, to further ensure the depth of the Chinese water, the US bombed the Chinese embassy in Belgrade. China responded with a demand of apology. The US won the first round. Now that the European Union will not be a threat for a while, the US is looking for the next victim, which consisted of China, and China. Well, at least that's what was planned. This man helped China. The reason why US spearheaded into Iraq is because the rebuke of USD from Mr. Hussein. When he declared that he will accept other currencies than USD when trading oil, he is directly declaring war at the US. The oil standards cannot and must not be changed. In the troops go. The US used different measures of propaganda to boost the morale of the nation, turning the left and the right for war. One of such method is washing powder. Of course, the water must be tested. Hainan Island incident on April the 1st, 2001 is not a pleasant April Fool's joke. A US fighter jet crashed into surveying Chinese fighter jet on Chinese territory. The Chinese fighter pilot is missing and assumed dead. The US fighter landed on a Chinese military airport and survived the crash. This infuriated the Chinese, which again demanded for an apology. The rest of the world turned a blind eye to this matter. Zipton, being pressured, gave an apology formally handwritten by himself. Most importantly, China joined the WTO. The US is thoroughly embarrassed. The Chinese had tested the limits of the US this time. Overall, despite some setbacks, the US achieved its main aim, which is re-establish the oil standards in Iraq. China's growth is unstoppable when unstopped. Now that the EU's growth is inhibited and the oil standards is safe, who is the next target? The Obama administration has thought of multiple ideas that kind of worked. Because of all the benefits from joining the World Trading Organization, the US chose a good tactic, creating the TPP. The TPP is a trading organization that doesn't include China. This slightly inhibited the growth rate of China. However, this benefited other countries more than the USA, including Japan and Australia and etc. This WTO 2.0 saw the faintest of success before internal issues in the USA dismantled it. China's way of rising, much like that of Great Britain, the US and Japan, is navally inclined. Therefore, it is only natural for China to build a big sexy navy and wanting large naval territories. So does other Southeast Asian countries. All countries want to be powerful. Therefore, South China Sea became one of the most disputed territory in the entire world. This, obviously, affects US interests. This is one of the many countries that have an overlapping claim with China. The US decided to use it. This is a very cunning action of the Obama administration. The Philippines wanted more territory, so did China. The Philippines decided that they will arbitrate. However, arbitration is only used in civil matters, so a mostly unrecognized tribunal was formed. It is so obvious that this is not much of an arbitration but a land grab, to the extent that China didn't even attend. One side of the arbitration did not recognize the arbitrator, but the arbitration still commenced. Philippines received all territories, with a cost of hiring the tribunal. The US had won the third round. The US is always good at beating the second while teaming up with the third. Right now, the third is turning a blind eye, whether you think it's Russia or the EU. Thank you for watching. I am Arkham Hathaway, and I am really interested in modern politics. I have just started this channel, and I would really like your support. If you're interested in these kind of stuff, you can consider subscribe to me. I am currently working on a video of Trump and his intentions. If you are interested, feel free to stick around. Until next time, have a wonderful day.